It's very hard. Again, I think the easiest thing to do is to devolve into hate. It seems easier, right? It's easier to just say, fuck you, you suck, and just hate on everybody, right? Because when you try to embrace everybody with love and peace and understanding, you get spit on, right? Nobody, nobody really accommodates that feeling mostly. Again, I've stayed off the internet and didn't watch the news, and I am feeling a lot better about myself and humanity. But then you just catch 2 minutes of the news, and 3 weeks of Zen are gone. So I know this channel or this project that I've been involved in, Suck My Nasdaq, Hit the Bid. I've sprinkled it along. I've sprinkled in my political beliefs and all that stuff. I'm finding it a hard time to keep the two things separate. So I don't know what to do as far as my commentary, but I do have a plan as far as going forward with my comedy. And that comedy is going to be politically biting. And I'm probably going to get into some fights. And I'm actually thinking about bringing a bodyguard with me to do the stand up comedy, not a joke. And I think it'll be funny. I think that is the bit. So my bit, now that I've been cultivating this for the last 3 or 4 weeks, the idea, my shtick, if you will, even though I don't like that word, is that I'm legitimately afraid. And I'm being honest with you. I'm legitimately afraid to leave my house. Again, I went from a loser working at home because let's face it, if you were working from home in 2013 and 2014, you were still considered a loser, right? And then it started becoming more commonplace 2018, 2019. And then obviously we were forced to stay home. So it was a great pandemic for people that were already working from home and already acclimated to that. But now I'm at the point where I am almost a decade in from working home. I got to get out of my house, but now I don't want to. I do because I know it's not healthy for me to sit here all day, right? It's not healthy for me to be in the same environment, and that's why I surround myself with all this shit. I mean, I mean, some people say, "Oh, you're whatever." It's everywhere. I mean, it's on these ceilings. It's everywhere. I surround myself with stuff that makes me feel good because I'm legitimately afraid of society right now, and I think that's my bit. And I think people will be kind of like they'll laugh because I'm like a curmudgeon, weirdo recluse that's trying to get out of his house, but now society's telling me, no, it's better off that you stay inside. Why don't you just stay inside? Because again, according to the news, right? There's significant war going out on the streets, right? There's realistically terrorist organizations, the same terrorist organizations that celebrated and partied at from when I was back when I originally in the city, 9/11 days, 20 years ago, working on the street, 6 blocks away from when the towers fell, running, shit was hitting me on the arms. I'm still somewhere emotionally scarred by that. And to see these same terrorists being allowed to parade around the streets of America, especially as a gun owner and a concerned citizen and a non practicing Jewish person. Again, I say non practicing because I don't go to shul, haven't since I was bar mitzvahed. I don't believe in that stuff. And everything that people are fighting about, I don't even believe in anybody, you know? But I'm a de facto, I still obviously root and sympathize for the Jewish people, even though my kids aren't even Jewish officially. I married a nice, Scandinavian woman descended from Vikings. And if anything, I had to choose. If I had to choose, I would go paganism. They had it all figured out. Paganism. Vikings had it figured out, man, until Christianity ruined it for them. So I get it. I understand. But legitimately, I am afraid. I am afraid to leave my house. And I'm the bad guy. So if I go into the city with a gun, I'm immediately a criminal. And again, it's getting sort of decriminalized, but inevitably, again, I'm getting my carry license in New Jersey, and then you apply for it in Utah, and then you could apply for Utah. If you don't know, you get your Utah your carry license, and that gives you another 36 other states where you can carry in. And again, the laws are weird. You can't be near people or churches or post offices or schools or crowds or in traffic. So where can you actually carry the gun? Nowhere. See, that's the loophole. But there is new laws. And again, I wouldn't go to the city now without being absolutely armed, ready for a fight. Because according to the news, the terrorists are running around the streets looking for me. Me, personally, an American Jew. They're looking for me personally. And there's no way I'm going to go into the city without being prepared for a fight. And again, if you don't think this is the Democrats' fault, wake the fuck up, America, because this wouldn't be happening otherwise. And again, I know the Republicans are screaming what I want to hear right now. And you know what? I know, and I'm not dumb enough to realize they're saying that just to get me involved. But you know what? At least they're saying it out loud, mass deportation, right? And again, according to Trump, 150,000 people are being murdered by migrants every day. Now, I didn't expect to get math involved here, but if 150,000 Americans, 150,000 Americans are being murdered by migrants each day, we only have about 2,100 days left. Sorry, 2,100 days left. So we might as well start partying, right? Let's fucking party. Let's rock and roll. Let's have a good time. That's why I'm staying in my backyard, building bonfires and smoking weed and listening to the Little River Band. And that's where I want to be. That's what my life is. I want to trade stocks, catch some sun, take a nap, jerk off, or maybe have sex with my wife, but usually it's jerk off, and then possibly go outside, light a fire, listen to music, and do it again. All right, so let's talk about trading for a second. I have figured it out. I have figured out Zen. I don't trade anymore. My fingers now will not touch the keyboards. And it's working. So I tell my trader what to do, and he says, okay, boss, and he puts the trade on, and I sit back and I do absolutely nothing. But again, I did do a trade. I broke the law today. I had to short some UVXY when it was up above 10%. Here, look, I'll show you my one trade. I know the guy that says, look, you're not worth dick. Again, I'm the only person in the industry that has to trade every name, everything I mentioned, every stock. I have to be in at least 20,000 shares of it, or I'm not allowed to recommend anything. And again, the guy that I'm giving these trades to, he doesn't care that I'm not trading either, because he's making money and I'm taking a piece of the action. That's how we're circumventing the matrix. Because if I touch the keyboard, it's definitely I'm cursed. There's no doubt. After that UVXY trade, I'm busted, broke, and I'm ruined. And I believe that was entirely constructed to get me out of the industry. You win. But now I went back to the secret plan. And again, I probably shouldn't even be saying this, but VWAP works. These trades work, right? So let me show you what I look. This is what I do every day, right? I got the 1 screen, 2 screen, 3 screen, 4 screen. I got this 5 screen. I got the 6 screen and the 7th screen over there. You don't have to be worried about that. By the way, let me just show you my one trade today. There it is. UVXY short. I made $108.20. I know it's not a lot of money, but I made the $108 without having to leave my house. You have to extrapolate that. And later on, maybe I'll do another UVXY short, and I'll make a $200 trade on it. Maybe I'll make $300. $300 is not bad for a day's pay. I mean, you got to think about it as just a day's pay. But my trader, he was short the Qs this whole time and this trade. So this is JWN, my friends. You see this? Again, this is not me, but this is what I teach people to look for. It's called bucking the trend. You guys know what bucking the trend is, right? So when the market's tanking, there are going to be some stocks that are going up, bucking the overall trend of the market. And as a youngster, I always thought, oh, if the market's down, most stocks are going to suck, and I should just get short that stock. One of the earliest lessons I ever learned got to be like, circa 1997, 98. You stay with the trend of the individual stock. Now you take that knowledge and you put that with VWAP, and this is Nordstrom. I don't really trade this stock, but why was it on the watch list and the radar? Because they reported earnings last week. So you stick and you watch it. Holy shit, the market's tanking, but this thing turns, breaks the VWAP. And again, I didn't buy it here because I wasn't watching. I didn't buy it here, but this is where I saw it. It hit the high of the morning, pulled back, and then broke. And I said to my trader, hey, if this breaks over 22.17, buy it. because chances are it's going to get to this little orange line and you'll make an eighth of a point. And if it breaks the orange line, it could start a nice uptrend because we call this the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. And generally, you're not going to see a trade do the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal in the tape that we're in, the market environment that we're in, the overall down market that we're in. But when you see a 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal, take the trade. Now, people in my chat room took this trade. My trader took this trade. Did Kenny Glick press the button and take this trade? No, I only did the UVXY. Does that disqualify me? According to some on the interweb, it disqualifies me for even talking about it. So this is what I say. So as I scour the internet, I look at my watch list, I look at some stocks. So this morning when I said, hey, this market, and by the way, this market's doing the 100% absolute opposite of what I thought we'd be looking at today. The day after Labor Day weekend, historically speaking, in my mind, has been a bullish day. Usually the markets rally after holiday weekend since 9/11. It's the thing. It's like back in the day, it was even more significant. It's not as significant. But anyway, I came in thinking bullish. But the futures last night said no. So here's the NQ futures. Here's last night, 4:30 in the morning. Suddenly the futures said, yeah, whatever you thought about was wrong. And that's what I love about trading, being wrong, accepting you're wrong, and joining the winning side. So this morning, as everybody was saying, oh, we got to buy the dip, got to buy the dip, got to buy the dip. I'm like, don't buy the dip. You don't buy the dip when UVXY is strong. That's it. So if you didn't know that, right? So if you said, oh, I'm going to buy the dip, I'm going to buy the dip, right? So if you didn't know not to buy the dip when UVXY is strong, that vital information today was worth the $4,300 you paid for me for the entire rest of your year. Today, I just made it worth your while because I saved you from some shitty trade that you were going to do, and I kept you in the QQQ short because I said there's no reason to cover the short if UVXY is the strong. So am I short the Qs? No, but my trader is, and he's still short the Qs because I teach him where to place stops. So right now his stop is at this red line. That's why he's still short the Q. So one of our stops is the VWAP. Obviously, little breakdown price right there, right? You see it? You can't really see it so well right now. And the stop right there. So now I get to live a good life. Now, if I actually wanted to leave my house right now, this is where I could actually say to myself, I can go. And, I'm not going to have that whole debate about brokers and Kramer and everybody on CNBC. And again, I understand where you're coming from, but it's only really 3% of you. And again, that's part of the thing that I have inside me. I try to please everybody. I want to make everybody happy. And I want everybody to like me. I think everybody else there you want to be liked, right? You don't want people hating you. But when it's misconstrued, bad information that you're hating me on, it's unfair. It's unfair. And I take offense by it. Because why could Kramer give out 13, 14 recommendations a day? He's not in the names. And he has a show for 15 years now. Nobody says dick about that. Oh, you can't make recommendations on the TV unless you're in the trade. Right? And by the way, remember how I used to say, look, you could tell a profitable trader from a non-profitable trader by asking them. If they debate or they come up with another answer before saying yes, they're not a profitable trader. So if you ask me now, did you make money in 2024? The answer is probably going to be no. All right. But I could do 78 trades in a row right now and teach you how to find these ideas. Because since I blew up, and I've blown the fuck up if you don't know. That volatility attack on the UVXY and the VIX, that was on me. That was on me. It was like they called Schwab and E-Trade. All right, where can we bring the VIX to fuck Kenny Glick's life up as much as possible? And then to make it worse, have the VIX collapse right about 6 or 7 days later when we know he's going to be out of town and not be able to trade it. And that's what they must have sent to Schwab and E-Trade because they did a great job. They brought the UVXY exactly to the point where, well, Schwab, at this point now, I'm thinking it was even more of a crime because they changed the margin requirements. I could have fought through it. I mean, if it would have got, see again, I can't say what would have happened, because if it would have got, if for some reason that unprecedented event, that yen carry VIX explosion thing, if it actually was worse and it did do it again the next day, then there wouldn't be this video. I wouldn't be here. I would have had to sell my home and all this shit. And if anybody wanted to buy blood and sperm from me, I'd be selling that shit. I'd be sucking dick for rock. Well, maybe not rock, just sucking dick to live on exit 58 off the Garden State Parkway, right under the highway right there. There's a little alcove. But luckily it didn't get there, but I couldn't let it get there. But Schwab refused to even take that chance. They called 3 times. You got to get out. And I had to get out. And of course, look where the UVXY is right now. Mind you, it's up $3.33 right now. That's $3,000, or probably about, I will get my trader short UVXY inevitably today or tomorrow. We're going to make these 3 points. UVXY does revert to the downside always. The only time you lose money is when you're on leverage and you're doing naked calls and futures and you run out of money. Don't do that. Don't run out of money. You want to short 400 shares and then 400 and 800. Maybe you have a pain threshold of 2,000 shares and you have an X amount that you could handle. If you stay within your means, you really can't lose money shorting your VXY. So let's reel it in. Let's reel it in, my friends. So what we're going to do is we're going to post our trades at the end of the day, for good or for bad. You know, I love talking about losses. I think I'm the only one on the internet that talks about, I'm the only one that loses money in the market. But I will post the winning trades. I'll post the entire run, however my boy Dave has done. So Dave's doing my trade. So far, Dave's following along. He's only taking VWAP trades. He's only listening to the ideas that I talk about. And I think this is it. This is where I'm going to be. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2 throughout the day, but I have no obligation. I have no reason to do it. Because if this is working, he's making money, I'm making money, I'm giving the good information. I'm getting paid to give information, in case you forgot. Again, I know I'm the only person that has to take every trade that I recommend, or I'm not qualified to recommend stock or any of that stuff. But that's not the debate anymore. And I actually don't really care about your criticism, because again, it really is only about 7% of YouTube that really feels that way. And again, it bothers me because you're so wrong. Because if you think about it, and I'm going to just say it one more time, what's my job? My job is not to trade my account. If anything, you should be more insulted. So like, for instance, let's say I'm trading my own account and I'm shorting UVXY today. I got the JWN and I shorted the Qs, and you're in my chat room and you decided to take some other trades not recommended by me today, and you got your ass kicked. And then I come on YouTube saying how fucking awesome everything is, and you're like, fuck you, right? You don't want to hear that I did well when you didn't. You'd rather hear how shitty my day was, but you did well. And that's where my life is. It ain't about me. It's never been about me. It's for you. I do this for you. That's what I get paid to do. And I'm proud of it because I do it better than anybody else. Because as 3 hours of commentary every day, finding trades, giving the entries, telling you why it looks like a good idea, where you should get in, where you should get out, and more importantly, what you should do when it's a losing trade, and then what you should do on the way out on a winning trade. That's all I do every day for 10 years going, really since 2007 in theory, even though the chat room was just a couple of guys. But here we are. Here we are. And there's no way I could sit in this house all day anymore. So if you're in the city, I'm going to start hitting the city some more. I went to this one place. There was nobody there. The place wasn't even open. But it's tough. I'm old. I'm tired. It's tough to get on the bus now, go to the city. It's tough. I'm old. But what's my point? My point is there are terrorists running around the streets of New York City, and apparently nobody cares now, except for me. And if I'm the guy that says, hey, maybe we should remember that there's a war on terror, point at the enemy, and kill the enemy, right? I don't know why it isn't that basic. Like, why isn't that the theme? Terrorism bad. There are the terrorists. They're actually wearing the terrorist colors. So if you were in a gang, right? Bloods and Crips, you got your blue. Oh, they're upstairs. I had a blue handkerchief, right? And the enemy comes into your territory wearing their colors, there's going to be a fight. But suddenly it's accepted. It's accepted now that migrants can step on cops' necks and beat the shit out of people and murder people, and that we can have terrorist organizations running around the streets of this country without being shot at. And I long for the day where whoever, and again, well, it won't be the Democrats, obviously. And again, I can't root for Trump because he's a fucking mental case. And by the way, wait, it gets better. Hold on. This was a good one from this morning. I don't have it. Oh. Oh, right. This is what he said. He said, do you know that kids are going to school and right in the cafeteria, they're having sex change operations, right? The parents don't even know. The parents don't even know because the schools can do whatever they want. The kids go to school Monday, and 2-3 days later, they're coming back, total sex change. No, he said that. Yeah. I needed to get a note from my parents if I wanted to go on a school trip. But now they're doing sex change. They're having sex change operations in the cafeteria in the school. Right. This is what's coming out of that dude's mouth. And also, again, we could go on and on and on. Post-birth abortions. They're even killing babies a couple of days after they're born. They're like, you know what? I don't want this baby. They're just killing the babies. That doesn't happen either. But he says that shit out loud, and people are like, yeah, he said it. See, I told you. And then you go to a website that caters to your crazy fucking idea, and there's 17 other people talking about post-birth abortions. First of all, it wouldn't be called an abortion. It'd be called murder if it was a post-birth. Not really an abortion. And wait, it gets better. Like I said, 150,000 people are being murdered every day by migrants in this country. 150,000 people a day. Yeah. We only got 2,000 days left, man. Let's start fucking rocking out. All right, that's my time. Have a great night, everybody. Don't forget to tip your bartenders. If you're drinking, don't drive. If you're driving, don't drink. And if you'd like to learn more about VWAP, let me know. I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good at finding opportunities to make yourself a living, right? Nobody's getting rich. I could set you up with the knowledge to then parlay that into riches, right? Because once you get the vital information, once you learn how to trade and learn about entries and order flow and exits and entries and exits and entries and VWAP and multiple time frame VWAP, there's a lot to it. But once you get it, it's just rinsing and repeating. And no, I'm not in every trade. And I might not trade ever again. And none of that means anything because you're getting an education and that's what you're paying for. Think of me as the DeVry Institute. Remember them? When you dropped out of high school and you couldn't find a job, you went to DeVry and you learned how to work TV equipment and air conditioning and shit. Same kind of thing. But I teach you something that's so freaking vital. And then you could take what I taught you and throw it in the face of this industry. That's what I like mostly about it. That's why I'm still here. Because 95% of what anybody talks about in this industry is bullshit. Nobody knows anything. That's why it's so gratifying to just trade price. This is what the stock is doing. This is the stock and what it's doing here. Here's where it's doing this. And this is what probably will happen if it's this thing. And if it doesn't, I'm going to do this. If it doesn't do that, I do that. And then you live for the day. I have no positions. I don't do call spreads. I don't have any investments. I don't own any stocks. I don't do call spreads. I don't do put spreads. I'm not swing trading. I don't know about these companies. And the other stock that I did very well on, not me personally, but Dave, my trader, was a stock called DYN. Yeah, DYN. DYN. And the whole morning, I'm thinking, hey, what's going on with Dynegy? DYN. I don't know that DYN is now Dyne Therapeutics and they missed their clinical trial data. That's the trader you want to be. Who gives a fuck? I legitimately thought it was Dynegy still. Why wouldn't I? I didn't know Dynegy went away. Remember Dynegy and Enron? And Dynegy was trying to buy Enron? DYN. And now it's Dyne Therapeutics. But it doesn't matter because capitulation, then you had the fake out, shake out, breakout, VWAP break. Buy it. Dave got in at 26.85 and banged it out at 29.50 and 30.50. Good for Dave. Good for me. I didn't take the trade, but Dave takes what I taught him and puts the trades on. And Dave's my hero now. You could all be Dave. And I'd like to have 3 Daves because if I have 3 Daves, then we'll be in all that stuff. Anyway, Dynegy. Yeah, DYN. Take a look at it. And those JWN and DYN, UVXY, QQQ, and Bob's your uncle, wherever Bob is. All right. Oh, also, I'm just to fit in with the woke community. I'm going to grow hair everywhere out of every orifice I can grow hair out of. I'm going to braid it all together, and then I'm going to pierce my eye. So maybe I can infiltrate the Palestinian uprising because that's what you got to look like. I'm going to grow all my hair. Whatever hair I have left, I'm just going to take a big patch of it, wrap it around my head, and I'm going to grow my ear hair, my nose hair. I'm going to braid that shit together, and I'm going to loop that in to my goatee and put a bead at the end. And I'm going to wear a Free Palestine t-shirt and a Hezbollah fucking flag so I could fit in. And then I'll just murder myself or maybe set myself on fire. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Rock and roll. And by the way, don't forget, check on your kids in elementary school because they're doing sex change operations in the cafeteria. So today on the menu, tater tots, really bad pizza, and Billy's getting his dick snipped at 3:00. Be there. Have a nice day, everybody.